Hey guys, how's it going? Kulprit here, and today I'm going to bring you my second episode in the PTFO 101 series. Today I'm going to talk about the engineer. Unfortunately, I've had a really hard time getting footage for these videos. I've been really trying to get footage that kind of correlates with the points I'm trying to make. And lately, as I play these objective modes, Rush and Conquest, I get one or two things. Either I'm on a good team and we're spawn trapping people, and that really shows nothing. And try as I might switch, even if the servers let me, a lot of times when you're breaking out of a spawn trap, that doesn't really show the roles I'm trying to show either. And or like I said, or I'm on the other team and we get killed, and it just doesn't work out. So basically today in this match, I'm going to be running engineer. It's not the most incredibly exciting match. It is a bunch of guys from the platoon playing with me. I actually played it last night. Not a ton of kills and deaths and that kind of thing, but it was a 64-man server. It was a little chaotic. And it was one of the few recently that I ran engineer, so I figured I'd take the opportunity, use the footage, and talk to you about my ideas of a PTFO playing engineer. Basically, the concept, in my eyes, of playing the objective as an engineer is really pretty simple. Your job is not to be necessarily on the burn. You certainly don't have to be dry humping MCOMs in order to be playing the objective, and this is where the wrong connotation people have with PTFO is that if you didn't get the arm, you didn't play the objective. That's incredibly accurate in the sense of the engineer. The engineer's job is to really, primarily down at its core, stay alive. Yeah, obviously it's to kill tanks, but you can't do that if you're dead. So what do I mean by stay alive? Basically, you have to be there when needed. It's you know, if you're not there and a tank rolls up on a flag and it's only being defended by assaults or even support or recon, yeah, sure, support have C4, but it's not a really good way to take out tanks. It's good, it's possible, but on a server like this, it's not going to work all the time. So you have to be there. You have to almost be on call. So what does that mean? You have to stay alive. Now, like I said, you don't have to be on the burn. You're probably better off not on it, but be in the vicinity. Like a good example for me is as engineers, obviously you want to pick the high traffic flags. Here on this map for me, I believe it's C and D. You guys know the ones. It's the one down by the beach by the two buildings. It's the one right here by the secondary, the one I'm working right now. By the second, I don't know the names, I apologize. By the secondary construction site back there. Those two are obviously the two, in my opinion, power flags that if you can control them, you're going to primarily control the match. Much like, say, on Caspian Border where you have Hilltop and Forest. If you can control those two, you're going to control the map. This is where I feel like engineers should be. But what you want to be is, unfortunately, because engineer weapons are close quarter weapons for the most part, you really do need to be up close. You can't be playing a step back and be playing an effective engineer because you just don't have the weapon for it. You can't be only RPG, only small. So while I encourage you to push up and be around the front lines, you shouldn't necessarily be on the flag. You shouldn't necessarily be on the MCOM because you're really not doing anybody good by being there. You got to think ahead and think, if armor rolls up on this flag, where would a good flank position be? Where would a good side shot or ideally rear shot be from? And position yourself there ahead of time. Now, you see me here, I'm capping flags. That's if you see the opportunity, you go for it. Sure, you got it. You do have to be a team player. But that is not your primary role. Your primary role is to be alive and be there when I need you. And, I'm a guy who plays medic a lot. So a lot of times, I have no use against armor at all. Sure, I'll throw the grenade or a 320 at it, but that doesn't really do anything. So nothing pisses me off more than having just an engineer that's constantly running up and trying to arm MCOMs or whatever. It's, I appreciate his tenacity, but then, 3 seconds later, he might get the arm off, or somebody else might get it off, but a piece of armor just rolls in, and now that engineer's nowhere to be found. So, pick your spots, but make sure you're going to live through it. That's basically what I'm saying. Now, the wrinkle is that now with the Scar H, obviously, and the ACWR, they do provide a little bit of a different play style for the engineer. You could play, conceivably, a medium-ranged engineer, where you're a little further off, a little more of an Overwatch, which this could be really a good, viable play style. And I would even recommend switching then to the Javelin. But as we all know, the Javelin can be incredibly frustrating to use. And unless you have someone else running SoFlam, I really hate to run the Javelin. I want to run the Javelin for its added benefits, but it often ends up just frustrating more than it doesn't. So this is my preferable setup. I'm using ACW here. You see me, I'm pretty much in the hotspots. I'm in the two, what I call the power flags, and I'm trying to do my best to help hold them. Now, you're not so much offensive. Now, the next great decision is obviously, the repair tool or the mines. Myself, I tend to always go mines. The reason is I rarely jump into vehicles. Now, there's always those times that I really feel terrible because, someone rolls up next to me in a tank because they see I'm engineer and I got nothing for them. But those are much further between than when I get my kills. And I tend to get kills with mines quite often. I used to get them a ton back before they got nerfed. But now, I mean, as long as you put them down, I mean, they're very, very effective. Now, as a defensive engineer, you have to understand your job, or I guess just as an engineer in general, you got to understand that, sure, you are anti-armor. But your job as a single engineer is not to kill that armor. It very rarely comes down to one engineer killing a piece of armor, and if you do, then that armor is an idiot, frankly. What you're basically trying to do, especially on a defensive stance, where you want to have a ring of mines, something out there. Now, there's a lot of debate on how to put those down, and I'll touch on that in a second. But your purpose there really is to slow the armor down, keep them off the burn if you can. At the very least, just keep them, be a nuisance of yourself. Just hit them from the side, get them, if you can get them disabled, that's great. And you're really going to have to wait on some support to really take down an effective tank, because you almost have to do it all at once. Now, everybody talks about mines, because like I said, I use mines a lot. Now, if you want to use a repair tool, that's great. I understand that. That is team play. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see it either as a wrong option. But if you are going to choose to run the mines, there's a lot of debate. Do you stack the mines? Do you put 4 or 3 right on top of each other so that if you do get that hit, you get the kill? I am of the other school. I tend to spread my mines out. I even try a lot of times to spread them out so that if someone were to detonate one of my mines, it's not going to blow them all up. Why? Because for me, mines are not necessarily as much about the kill as they're about like a defensive screen. Even if somebody doesn't run them over, mines are going to come up, they're going to be, armor's going to come up, they're going to see the mines, they're going to slow down. And that's where hopefully my rockets will come in. Now I can hit them with rockets while they're sitting there trying to take care of my mines. All the while, they're not on the burn. So you start seeing my thought process when I play engineer. It's not so much about capping flags. It's not so much about getting, flag defender points and things like that. It's little things that don't get points, and it's providing a defensive screen for the points you want to hold on the defensive side. On the offensive side, sure, jump on that flag and help burn it, but don't be the first guy on it. Don't be the second or third guy. Be that guy that comes on to really speed up the burn, and then, like I said, immediately move to the flanks. Move to the right, to the left. If you could somehow flank around, where you'll get a nice ass shot on a tank, that's the best idea. I hope you all know that hitting a tank from behind, particularly at a right angle, perpendicular to the tank, will give you maximum damage. Perhaps I'll do a video on that. If there's some confusion, let me know in the comments. But there are videos out there you could find. That's how I learned it. But that's how I play. On the attack, here, this is why I don't like this gameplay necessarily for the commentary, but I had to do it. It doesn't correlate very well because you see me, I'm rushing all the flags and capping, but that's 64-player madness. But like I said, unfortunately, a lot of the things I like to do as an engineer don't really show up in the box score, if you know what I mean. And if you're doing your job effectively as an engineer, you're not going to get a lot of action. They're going to give up on that flag you're holding. And I guess that's another point, is as an engineer, you should be a little more stationary. Now, that's why I like to find the paired flags on maps like this, like these two. You see me, I'm just going back and forth, back and forth. And conceivably, I'm basically able to almost hold both flags. Same thing with Caspian, like Hilltop and Forest is a great example. I love to hold those two. This is a funny little clip where I do a little drop shottage on Nova Dragon and Zion. This pissed Zion off to no end because he kept calling me a hacker. I'm sorry, a camper, because I just was laying down. Knew I was being overrun, and he was having a rough night. So he begged me to show this gameplay and leave it in. I'm sure he really wanted me to leave it. So anyway, guys, I'd like to hear your thoughts. That's how I play Engineer. That's how I wish a lot of people thought about when they played Engineer. Engineer is not really a rusher. It's not a run and gunner. I wish guys would slow down a little bit. Think about the meta game. Think about being more of a screen, a defensive screen, towards getting bum rushed by armor. Do your job. Get the mines out there. Let your presence be known with rockets, and that armor is going to slow down and stand off, and it's going to make your assaults, your supports, and your recon's job a lot easier. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate all the support. If you enjoyed this, a like, favorite, I would really appreciate it. As always, your feedback and your comments below are always definitely appreciate it, and I do my best to reply to everyone when I can. And I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.